Good evening, and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk. Tonight, I'm proud to present Kamen Rider Geats, Episode 6. Well, another good episode. There was a couple of things I didn't like, nothing major. It's more of a, I wish they could have done it differently to why did they added this scene into this episode, because it wasn't needed. And for those who've seen the episode, which I hope all of you guys have, assume they know what I'm going to talk about. Let's see. This episode, at least for today's lesson, is all about being true to oneself and not resort to any dirty tricks in order to win. That pretty much was the moral of this episode. And let us begin, let us begin with Keiwa and his Keiwa Chronicles. Which do you prefer, guys? Do you prefer me calling it the Keiwa Chronicles? Or do you prefer I call it the Tycoon Chronicles? I don't know. I've been calling it the Keiwa Chronicles since the beginning, so I don't know. What do you guys think? Keiwa Chronicles or the Tycoon Chronicles? Either way, he is recapping what happened, and with an added bonus, he is very nervous. He's very concerned because he is tag teaming with someone that, he doesn't trust any riders. He wants to win this on his own, and I can't help but feel for the guy because he just he doesn't know what to do. And speaking of which, Mary is waiving that ticket, because he thinks that ticket, it's going to be the answer to Bufa's prayers, but it's more like the opposite. And for those who already seen the episode, already knows why. So he's waving the ticket all around, thinking that it's gonna change everything, and he has this ability, so to speak, Mary does, that he has deaf hands where he can tell what kind of drawing it has based on touching the print. Which begs the question, what kind of job does Mary have? Because Mary's goal is to get Bufa as his partner so he can win this round. However, this is also a review and alongside a recap, but my question to you guys is, do you think Mary would have been better off if he would have chose Ace instead of Bufa? I understand why Mary chose Bufa, because he assumed that he is one of the same, that he is willing to, he's willing to pull all the stops in order to win. That's the reason why he wants Bufa to be a part of his group. But what could have happened if Ace was the one, being Mary's partner? How would Ace deal with Mary, knowing that he may be like the bad guy here? So we move on to the next scene after the opening credits. Ace, I don't know about Ace, he appears to be 2 steps ahead of everybody, and he knows things. And here's another question for you guys: do you think that he is some kind of an immortal? Because I can't help but feel that, do you think that he was a Roman? Because he quotes something from ancient Rome that made me think, is he a Roman? Also with the gold coin he had, and it had a head of Caesar, I believe. Do you think that he was a Roman and he became an immortal and he was a part of the Temple of Desires tournament for many years up to this point? Do you think that he is in like he's an old man with a young body? Yeah, that's another question for you guys. Is Ace a Roman, an ancient Roman? Because Ace knows things. And what I mean is that in the next scene, Ace was on his phone and reads about an illegal casino dealer who reportedly fled overseas. And guess who was on the news? Mary. And everybody was shocked, And then all of a sudden, they were summoned to the temple, and Tsumuri announces that Mary's going to use his ticket, and he does the lottery thing, picks Bufa's card, so Mary's new partner is Bufa, and Keiwa's new partner is now Pumpjack's. And when Pumpjack faces Keiwa, I can't help but notice that his helmet is all clean and shining, glowy. I'm like, damn. Either is the lighting or Pumpjack decided to take off his helmet and just decided to, clean it up and make it all shiny and glowy. And of course, Keiwa and Ace and Neon was like, now that they know about his past, are like, wait a minute, are you sure? Because he may be cheating. And Mary was like, well, it was all in the past. I've changed now. I paid for my crimes. And Ace is like, really? I haven't read I haven't read anything that you went to prison and paid for your crimes. And of course, Mary had this awkward pause and like, yeah, everything you said just now is all BS. And it's been proven in the episode that he is not changed at all. Not at all. And so they get their partners, and oh Lord. In the next scene, Keiwa and Pumpjack have training together. And my God, Pumpjack. Here I thought that Keiwa and Pumpjack would have been an awesome tag team. But it turns out it was a tag team of hell. Because they were at the beach. There were two Squidwards. And the goal is to just test each other and see if, how well they can work together. And it turns out, like, Pumpjack, like, he just acts like a robot. He doesn't talk. And as he was trying to transform, Keiwa he just went on his own and tries to attack the Squidwards. And poor Keiwa is just yelling at him, please stop, you need to work together. This is not the way. The goal is to destroy them at the same time. But you see Pumpjack just beating the hell out of both. And Ace and Neon just watching in the background, just like, oh man, Keiwa is screwed. Well, not before Ace made the decision of handing back the booster buckle from the last episode for the trade. And Keiwa figured, well, maybe with this I have some sort of chance. But I don't think so. Even with the booster, you still need to work with your partner in order to destroy the pairs at the same time. And of course, they need to have the same symbol. Oh my God. Pumpjack, I was rooting for you. Your stock went up in the last episode. Now it's just like, are you just there just to as a villain and just not listen to your partner and just do things on your own? Like, what the hell's going on, man? I was rooting for you. Hell, I was like one of those Daedric princes here, rooting for you to stay and be a part of the tournament. Boy, I was wrong. Boy, I was wrong. Oh my god. Pumpjack. I think that's the reason why he has his first name a Punk. God, it was. I felt sorry for Keiwa. And speaking of which, Keiwa and Bufa have this awesome scene together. And the reason why I say this is because it just reveals what kind of person Keiwa is. And I can't help but ask you guys this question. I'm not going to ask just yet. At least not until I go over the scene. So Michinaga tells Keiwa, why not just you buy a ticket and you get to switch partners. And here's the part where it just, you gotta love Keiwa, but at the same time it's like you can only go so far with this attitude. He says he doesn't want to get in the way of others. He does not want to win if it brings misfortune to others. So in other words, let's say he decides to get the ticket and gets Ace as a partner. It will leave Neon very sad and end up with Pumpjack. And he wants everybody to succeed. He is with like this motto where if his friends succeed, then he succeeds and he's happy. And Michinaga pretty much sums it all up. You're a lost cause. You're crazy. I would have said the same thing. But it just goes to show what kind of character Keiwa is. And he's very noble. And that's why many people, myself included, wants them to succeed. Unfortunately, with that kind of attitude, you can only go so far. And I don't think he's going to survive this tournament, or at least win with that type of attitude, because it's a double-bladed sword. But regardless, you gotta give a round of applause to Keiwa, because he is true to himself and doesn't want to resort to any tricks, like good or bad. Well, what I'm trying to say is whether it goes to his advantage, whether it's good or bad, he doesn't want to do it, because he wants everybody to succeed and he wants everybody to be happy. Speaking of being true to oneself, after that awesome scene, Michinaga just leaves, and then he meets up with Mary, and Mary steals the booster buckle from Keiwa's room and hands it over to Michinaga. Why? To me, it's strange, because why can't you just use it for himself, like Mary? Like Mary, why did you hand over the booster to Bufa and not kept it for yourself? It didn't make sense to me. But even Michinaga's like, why did you, one, steal it, and two, like, why are you handing it over to me? And Mary was like, I just think ahead. I strongly believe that you will take us to victory, and he will do whatever it takes to win. He will do whatever it takes to win, even if it means stealing buckles and all this weird stuff. And Ace appears and just wants to be a part of the conversation. Mary just up and leaves. Michi stuffs the buckle inside one of his pockets, and And this is another reveal. Ace knows what's going on. Like, he knows the reason why Michi hates him so much. And we get into this weird transition from the present into the past. And it was so weird and awkward, at least for me. This green mist appears behind Michinaga's back, and we transition to the past. I'm like, ugh, why that? It just looks so weird. Anyway, on to the past. It's revealed that before the Squidwards killed off Toru, apparently those two riders that went off into the night, they beat up Toru. They end up beating Toru up, and you see the zombie buckle on the ground, and they took it. And then they leave, leaving Toru left to die, and we see the sequence again. Only this time, Ace was the one who saved Michinaga from the Yamamoto attack, and he chases them off, and Ace apologizes, but you need to forget this. And he ends up leaving. And Michinaga vows that he will never forget this. I will have my revenge, or Toru's revenge. I will not stop until I destroy you and other riders. And, it was assumed that Michinaga will not become a rider, but fate, as you know, has other plans. Let's see. Ace goes on, because Ace, he knows what happened between Mary and Michi. He witnessed the whole, transfer and the whole stealing of the booster buckle, because he says this: he won't lose to someone who resorts to dirty tricks to win. He is true to himself no matter how bad things get. And he ends with the quote, "The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself." And he ends up leaving. And of course, Michinaga is angry. And then we get to this big reveal about his wish. And he was right. He wrote that he wants the power to crush every Kamen Rider. It wasn't about bringing back his best friend at all. So, I assumed that the writer's wishes, when they said it out loud, I thought it was all a lie, but it turns out to be true. Neon wants true love. Michinaga wants the power to destroy all Kamen Riders. Keiwa wants world peace. We don't know what Mary's wish is, and Monokuma's wish was to let the world burn. No humans in this world. That's it. We don't know what Ace's wish is. All we know is that he is trying to find someone. So that's all we know. Leading into my other question. Do you think that Ace is being a hypocrite here? And I'll tell you why I'm asking. Remember episode 3. Ace lied to Keiwa about his wish, about helping, kids around the world. And remember, the big boss came in attacking both Keiwa and Ace was having a hard time. And it was up till Ace pretty much said, "Hey, can you toss me that booster buckle? Because if I die, then my wish dies along with me." And Keiwa, being as gullible as he is, tosses the booster buckle, and Ace uses it, defeats the monster, and becomes, and becomes the winner of the round. And then, Ace pretty much told Keiwa that, "You're such a gullible boy. I lied to you. It was all a lie for you to give me the booster buckle." So my question again, do you think he's being a hypocrite here because he did lie and use a dirty trick to make Keiwa hand over the booster buckle? Or was he being true to himself? I don't know. That's an interesting question. Anyways, so we get back to the waiting lounge. Keiwa is crying because he doesn't know where he placed the booster buckle. And of course, Mary is being all silent. And then Michinaga appears with the booster buckle in hand. And Keiwa was wondering, how did you get it? Oh, Mary stole it and handed it over to me. So he ratted Mary out. He ratted him out. Everybody, for the most part, was disgusted by Mary, but he, did not care because he openly admits, like, hey, I'm doing whatever it takes to win. I don't care if I'm the bad guy here. And of course, Keiwa was like, okay, hand it over now. And Michinaga was like, no, I'm not going to hand it over to you unless you hear this proposition. And it leads to the next scene, which I did not like. Why did they add that in? I have no idea. But the thing was, his proposal was, okay, if you want it back, fight for it. So this scene, they made it back to the beach. Michinaga plants the booster in the middle, and he is telling the rules. All the while you see Ace just smirking, trying to laugh. And all the while, Keiwa and Mary were fighting over the booster, and then it's just that scene was so stupid and unnecessary. It's just Keiwa getting his ass kicked. That's it. That's it. Anyways, so they get summoned. Round 3 continues. The Squidward pairs are attacking couples. And here's the cool part. So let me see. Let me check my notes here. Yes. So Bufa uses the booster. So you see him in his booster form. And you see him hesitating at first, but he ends up stealing Mary's monster, all the while Keiwa was fighting his monster. And you see this awesome battle sequence where everything was in slow-mo. You see Michinaga and fighting the monster, and Keiwa shooting at his monster, and then all the while doing their final attack, slow-mo. Awesome scene. I liked it very much. And they end up destroying the pair at the same time, and luckily they had the heart symbol, and therefore they get 200 points. And everybody was confused, like, what's going on? I thought that, Mary, like, Bufa is Mary's partner and vice versa. It turns out Tsumori appears and tells everybody there's been a change of partners. And we get this scene where Bufa buys his ticket and gets Tycoon as his partner. So he gets his old partner back, and that means Mary is stuck with Pumpjack. So everything goes back to the way things were. And Mary was, of course, really he was very upset, calling him a traitor and all that. And Kay was like, I didn't, like, you did that? I mean, thank you. And of course, Bufa's like, I didn't do it for you. I did it for me. I will do whatever it takes to win, but in my terms. I'm not going to use any dirty tricks in order to win. I'm going to do this my way. and and then after that, Neon and Ace destroys the final two pairs, leading them to 600 points. So the round ends. Ace and Neon are in first place, while Mary and Pumpjack are in last place. So the final four are Ace, Neon, Buffa, and Tycoon. Mind you, there was supposed to be a double elimination. However, Pumpjack was nothing more than a fill-in. So that means Mary is the only one getting eliminated. So he ends up giving his last words, and that side of him, the true Mary, just comes out, and everybody gets creeped out, and he disappears. Tsumuri declares that Mary is gone. His rider qualifications are gone as well. And Keiwa again asked her, what does it mean? It means that Mary returns to his old life. However, his memories of being a rider and being a part of the Desire Tournament is erased. It's nothing more than a dream. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I was a little bit confused, but then again, Mary survived. He didn't get killed. If he were killed, his ID code would have been destroyed and he would have been killed off for real. Same with Monokuma. He was eliminated and he is back to his normal life with no memory whatsoever. So that's the dealio. So that's it. That's the end of the episode. I mean, Tsumuri announced that there's gonna be a fourth and final round. The final boss is gonna be a toughie, and whoever destroys it will become the next God of Desire. The world will end and resets, and that's it. That's the end of the episode, guys. What do you think of the episode? Like I said before, I mean, it was another great episode, except that I didn't like the transition from the current timeline into the past. To me, it was really weird. Also, with Mary gone, we didn't get a chance to see what he wrote down on his card, so that will be forever in mystery now. Let's see. So yeah. The horrendous scene where they battle, that horrendous beach scene, not the training scene, but the whole fighting over the booster buckle scene, it was so unnecessary. I wish they would just took it out. It was so unnecessary. I didn't like it. Also, this is the part that I did enjoy. The whole revelation that more of Toru's killing was revealed, that apparently the two riders beats the holy hell out of Toru, leaves them to die, and Ace had nothing to do with it. I believe that Michinaga is just angry at Ace because he didn't do anything to stop it, I guess, or assumes that he was a part of it, but he wasn't a part of it. He just showed up right after. But Ace knows why he hates him so much, but it is what it is, I guess. Also, the scene with Michinaga and Keiwa was excellent. Again, it just reveals why so many people want him to win, but I can't help but really feel that Yuya has having thoughts about killing him on Christmas. I can't help it. I cannot help it. Other than that, I think that's it. If I forget anything, please write in the comments below. I have my notes in front of me as usual, but sometimes I do forget. Let's see. Okay, I'll leave with these questions. Question 1. Do you think that Ace was being a hypocrite? And what I mean is, again, he was telling Michinaga that I won't lose to anybody that resorts to dirty tricks. Is he being a hypocrite there? That's my question. Is Ace being a hypocrite? 2. Why did Mary chose Buffa instead of Ace? I already know the answer, but I think I already answered it earlier on, but I'll just say the answer. The answer is Mary thought that Buffa was one and the same. Like, he and Buffa were one and the same in terms of they will do anything by all means to win. But it was proven at the end that it wasn't the case. He wants to win, but he wants to do it his way and not resort to cheating. But my question is, why didn't Mary chose Ace? Why? Because I would have chose Ace. But, which leads to another question, like, if it were Mary and Ace, what would Ace do in a situation where Mary is pretty much the bad guy here? But Ace is pretty smart, so I'm sure he will find a way to deal with Mary and just still be in first place. So that's my question. My third question is, do you think that Yuya will kill off Keiwa on Christmas? Because if he does, to me, in my opinion, it will be at the same level as Angelus killing Miss Calendar on season 2, Buffy. Yeah, every time I watch that scene, it just guts me. Because I enjoyed Miss Calendar, and for Angelus to kill her off, it's just, ugh. It hurts, man. It hurts. So, do you think Yuta will have the guts to kill Keiwa off? I wonder. Imagine the uproar, good or bad. Oh, the writer community is gonna shake. Would it be a good thing or a bad thing? I do not know, but ugh. Oh man. And my final question, what do you think Mary's wish was? Because we didn't get a reveal what his wish was. But in your opinion, what do you guys think he wrote? Also, now that Mary is eliminated, he's not coming back. And here's why. Mary has his flowers. He's been given his flowers, given, the round of applause. The actor is not coming back. So now that Mary is not returning, my question is, do you think Monokuma and the other writer will come back? Because we haven't seen them receive their flowers on social media. Usually when a character dies, we get to see a picture of the actor receiving their flowers, and they have a round of applause, they have a moment with the cast and crew, and that's it. That's the end of the writer journey. We haven't seen any other writer characters or actors getting their flowers except for Mary. So I wonder, will those two come back? Mainly Monokuma. Do you think that he's coming back in later on in the season? Who knows? Because here's the thing, Sumuri can always bring him back. Remember, his core ID wasn't destroyed. So if she decides to bring him back and touches the core, he gets his memories back. So we have to wait and see, because in the next episode, according to Tsumuri, it's going to be the final round, and the boss, and whoever kills the final boss, will become the next god of desire, and the wish will be granted, and the world will change. So we have to wait and see. I think that's it for all my questions. What do you guys think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And if so, what would you do to change it? Thank you so much for listening. Please give a like if you like this video, and please subscribe. And for those who didn't like this video, thank you so much for listening to the very end. And I'll see you all on the other side of oblivion. Johnny!